Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It's Thursday night. We're going to be doing at least one best ball draft. So we'll kind of jump right into it. I did a little bit of work on tight ends last night. So a couple guys that I like more than others. I'll say that. It's definitely a very, very good class. There's at least 7 or 8, maybe up to 10 tight ends that I think will be viable options, both in fantasy and in real life. So I'll probably dig into the rankings again once I have a little more clarity. I did do kind of like a preliminary rankings with my tight ends, probably about 7. I think I did the top 7 so far, and that might adjust a little bit. Shouldn't swing too much, but it might adjust a little bit. So I haven't finalized it. I'll say that, but I definitely got to dig into the wide receivers a little bit more. Like I've been saying, I need to watch tape on Luther Burden again and Matthew Golden again. I definitely want to dig into those two guys and make sure that I'm correct on my take. But it's kind of getting there. And I do want to develop my, my rankings for best ball. I am going to put that together at some point, and it probably won't change. What I really want to focus on, and shout out to, I saw a video, it went pretty viral for a channel that only has more than me, but they only have about 700 subscribers, something like that. Small channel, but they had about 30,000 views on this kind of clip, talking about Chris Sims. And a lot of people, hate on Chris Sims, say it's kind of clickbaity, whatever. But you got to give it up to the guy. He makes his rankings, he has his stands, and he sticks by it. So, and a lot of times he's right. Sometimes it's a little aggressive. Sometimes he's wrong, but at least he makes a stand and he stands by it. And I appreciate that. And anyone that's seen my rankings, Travion Henderson ahead of Ashton Genty. Yes. And I'll probably, clip that and make a video of it or something. So, it's kind of there into the ether, but I appreciate that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm making my rankings, and it is what it is. I found a little bit last year and in years past, I kind of fall into that, and I fall into the group think, and I'm not doing that this year, and I'm not doing that moving forward. Because, when I've had the most success, it's when I do that. I make my own rankings. I stand by them. I'm hard and fast, and I don't really give a shit. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think that, I've been right more often than I'm wrong a lot of times. So I'll take those chances. And yeah, that's just my little rant on what I'm doing. So either way, I'm going to build my rankings at some point. Take some time for sure. But I do want to put together my rankings. And then I probably will not change it at all. And, at all, literally, unless there's an injury like a torn ACL, Achilles, something like that, then I'll pull them right out of my rankings, and then everyone kind of moves up ahead of it, sort of thing. Not that I'm going to draft using my rankings, and I probably won't make it available to my viewers just because it won't exactly be, accurate, because my stances will change a little bit and things will change. I just don't want to forget kind of where I started as far as my rankings are concerned. And then I'll redo it when we get to Best Ball Mania season as well. I'll redo it at the beginning, and I won't change it again. And if there's an injury, pull the guy out completely, because you can toggle between, when we get into a draft, you can toggle between ADP and your rankings. So, and typically I'll be drafting with ADP in mind, just looking for value, taking guys where you can get them, that sort of a thing. But I can also, bounce back and forth. So I do want to put together my rankings at some point in Underdog, but I won't likely make it available. If someone really, really wants it, I suppose I could send the CSV, but I don't really want to make it available. And I'll show it on my, on streams. I'll show my rankings, no problem. But I will show again, like I said, in a week or two, I will show my, my updated spreadsheet that I showed on the first episode of the new season. I'll show my rankings again once it's a little more, fine tuned. I've finished my running backs, my tight ends are getting there. I've got to watch quarterbacks, but I think Cam Ward's the only one I'm really gonna, really want to invest in. And then wide receivers, I really got to hone that in because I just think there's a lot of similarities. But we'll dig into that later. So let's jump into a draft. You see in the chat there, hit that like button. We do 15 likes. If I get 15 likes, we'll rip another draft. And if there's anyone in the chat, if there's anything specific you want to draft, let's do it. I don't really care what we do. Last episode, got lucky. We filled a bigger board. So I did a $100 bigger board last episode, 2 days ago. So if anyone wants to draft anything specific, let me know and we can jump in. But if there's no requests, I'll probably do just a big board and kind of take it from there. So we'll jump in. Don't see anything in the chat, so we're doing a big board. If you want to draft a big board with me, jump in. Waiting on 6. And yeah, hit that like button. 15 likes, we'll rip another draft. So if you're watching on the Twitter machine, jump into your YouTube, slap the like, help a guy out. You know, let's get into this. A little bit of a little beverage for the night. Bowen Island Brewery, West Coast Lager. I swear I'm keeping this fucking brewery alive. Right now, like it's the cheapest beer in the liquor store that's close to my house, and it's pretty good. It's not literally like a no-name nothing brand, but I swear I'm keeping these guys in business because it's pretty much all I buy from there. Bradley, Mr. Stalder. Stalder. I said it right. Drinking and drafting, bold call. Typically always have a little bevy. It's just one. Unless we get another draft going, hit the like button, 15 likes. I'll rip another one. Maybe I'll run down to the cooler and grab another one. But I'm not 6 or 7 deep on a Friday night. Although I'd be lying if I say I've never done that. That's for sure. But Mr. Stalder, if everyone in the chat from Player Profiler, very good resource. Check out his stuff. Packers fan, but we'll forgive him. We'll forgive him for that. Taking a little while to fill. Still waiting on 3. I still think there's tons of value with CeeDee Lamb. Still think there's tons of value there. So I honestly think, again, I haven't done my rankings and I will be getting into it. But I think I'm going to have CeeDee Lamb as number 2 in my rankings, at least like top 3 for sure. I think these running backs are a touch inflated. Not that I don't see value there. I like Bijan. I like Gibbs. I think Barkley's my soft fade in the top 3 for sure. But I think there's tons of value with CeeDee Lamb, tons of value. So that's somewhere I'm going to focus. If I'm pick 4, chances are I'm picking CeeDee Lamb. I think there's tons of value, and you can always back it up with Dak Prescott and Jake Ferguson and have that double stack. I think there's tons and tons of value. I finally updated my spike week, so that's rolling. Pick number 3 might be a CeeDee Lamb team. If you're in the chat and you're drafting, let me know. Baby Stevie, Hailstorm, no one that I particularly recognize, so that's good. Good mix of badges, badgeless, all that, so it should be good. 29 watching, nice number. I appreciate that. If you're watching on the Twitter machine, jump into the YouTube. I'll rip another draft. We get to 15 likes, so if half of you hit that like button, I'll rip another draft after this. And let me know in the chat if there's something specific you want me to draft. Last episode, I got into a bigger board, $100 draft. That was cool. Last one to enter, and it filled. I was not expecting that. But yeah, I ended up with a pretty solid team, I thought. We could take a look at that if you want as well. In a biggest board, $250 slow draft right now. I really like the way that team is going. But yeah, I'm probably going to be going CeeDee Lamb here. I was not expecting Barkley to go, but let's stick to our guns here. Let's stick to our guns. I need some Gibbs, but I think he should fall a little bit. But let's stick to our guns. Let's go CeeDee Lamb and see how this kind of shakes out. I think, again, tons and tons of value. Tons of value. 42 watching. Appreciate that, guys. Hit that like button. We'll rip another draft. And then for Mr. Stalder in the chat there, I'll grab another beer if I have to. Different one than this, but same brewery. Same brewery. But who do we got here? Puka Nacua still sliding up. I think there's some value with Jordan Whittington, but we'll see where he gets to. Where is he rising? 183. Robinson, who is a free agent as it sits right now, 131. I think there's definitely going to be a rookie wide receiver being drafted by the Rams. We'll see who it is. But Daddy, OG, chat, member, what's happening in a little board right now, and took Lamb in the first share of CMC in the second. So where'd you get Lamb? Probably like sixth or something like that. Offensive rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels, hot off the press. He deserves it. I was big fan of I agree with this. I'm taking Lamb as much as I can right now. I think there's a ton of value to be had right now with CeeDee Lamb. A ton of value. There's really no reason why he should have any less value than he had last year. So pick number 7, that's where I was at in that biggest board we did last episode. I was 7 and I got Drake London in the second. That is the best start I could probably ask for right now. I'm a massive fan of CeeDee Lamb coming into this year, like I've just been talking about, and Drake London. I've mentioned that a few times. I'm huge believer in Drake London going into next year. I'll be way overweight on the Drake London and Michael Penix stack. We'll see what happens with Kyle Pitts. Like I've been saying, though, I would be pretty surprised if they trade Kyle Pitts. I don't know how that would make any sense for a team that wants to be a playoff team. Why on earth would you trade one of your best playmakers in, I think, the final year of his rookie contract, I believe, right? So I don't think that makes any sense. I personally would expect Kyle Pitts to still be in Atlanta, but I mean, that's the news, the word on the street that he might be moved, and my Bengals are on the list. Got the Bengals shirt even today. I'm just bangled out. I should have picked, I guess I didn't have a chance to pick Jamar Chase, but we have 52 in the chat. Hit that like button. Now I want to rip another draft, so let's do it. 15 likes is all we need, and I'll rip another one. So let's take a look and see where we're at. Let's see where we're at. 4 likes, guys. 5. There we go. You're killing me. All right. Who we got? AJ Brown, I'm probably not going to go with. Maybe I will in this instance, but I would have Ladd over him. Jonathan Taylor would have been on my list. Man, London would have been great. Tyreek actually is at the top of the board. Still rising, and still think he should be rising. He should be going ahead of T. Higgins, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, probably AJ Brown for sure, in my opinion. I would take him over Ladd McConkey. Wow, we got a Patrick Mahomes drafter. Man, is this going to get thrown out? Fuck, I didn't even notice that. Isaiah Pacheco and then Patrick Mahomes. You're seeing a lot of that lately. Is this people that think this is playoff best ball drafting? I'm not really sure, but I've seen that a lot. People posting it on Twitter. I've seen it more than once in these draft rooms where people are just stacking Chiefs. Is it that they think the Chiefs are going to go ham next year? I don't know. T Clem 8. Like, in what world, man? I don't know if this will be thrown out or not. That's really frustrating. That's really, really frustrating. Let's take that's not going to happen. So let's take Breece Hall. I think there's tons of value there too. Not that I'm a massive like Breece Hall homer, but I think they address that offensive line. Fashanu's there, obviously rookie last year. He's going to take over as a full-time left tackle. Vera Tucker's still there. Max Mitchell might slide in as the right tackle, or he, right guard. He probably plays. I see them addressing that offensive line, and new coaching staff, defensive coach, right? Defensive coaches typically like to run the ball a little bit more. So I think there's some value with Breece Hall. There's a lot of these guys that are going, even Garrett Wilson now, right? A lot of these former first rounders last year that are now falling into the third, including kind of Tyreek Hill, Breece Hall, even Kyron's falling. Jackson Smith and Jigba's shooting up draft boards, which is unfortunate. I'm going to have to prioritize him in the second, I guess. I think he could go into the first round. I think that's possible. So there's another guy that there's a ton of value with. And the name of the show today was stacking conferences and divisions. So Miami and the Jets, that makes sense. So I guess I could have taken AJ Brown there, but I just think there's too much value in Tyreek Hill over AJ Brown. I think he's going to have every opportunity to have a bounce back season. That's for sure. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. I did some work, like I said, on the tight ends last night, and my comp for Harold Fannin was Jonnu Smith. See a lot of Jonnu Smith and Harold Fannin. I think he could be a great fit with the Broncos in that joker role that we know Sean Payton's looking for. I think he'd be a great fit there. My number one tight end is Tyler Warren, that former quarterback, high school quarterback, has some rushing ability, even did some QB sneaks in college. He's my guy, just the size and speed and everything else he can do, all the little things. He's going to be my tight end one for sure. And he is. Realistically, the way that they have it, the way that the ADP has fallen so far for these rookie tight ends, is pretty much how I'm going to have these guys. So Tyler Warren first. Then we've got Colston Loveland, who I liked a lot. My comp for Colston Loveland early was Mike Gesicki. Former wide receiver. There's still a lot of room for him to grow. So I do think that he is the tight end 2. Right now I have him as the tight end 2. I'm not 100% that he'll stay there. But right now I have him as tight end 2 because there's room for him to grow and get better. He's going to have to improve as a blocker. What's this idiot doing? Okay, Devontae Smith. Probably won't get thrown out. I just don't like when stuff like that happens. He probably would have taken Xavier Worthy there because, there you go. Yeah, this is like a playoff team. This isn't playoff best ball, man. Like, what do you think we're all doing? Just a bunch of idiots? I don't really get it. I just don't get it. But whatever. It is what it is. I got to mix it up a little bit. Where does it make sense? Like, there's nothing really divisional. I guess I could take Hurts and bring it back with Goddard, but I really don't want to do that. Given that I won't be able to get Smith or AJ Brown, like I said, I could bring it back with Goddard, but I don't think I need to go down that road. Roma Dunze is always my guy. If I had any, divisional, like I guess Dallas and Detroit could play, I suppose. I think Rashee Rice is too expensive. I think Roma Dunze should be going ahead of Jameson Williams, Zay Flowers, definitely Rashee Rice. I'm a big believer in Roma Dunze this year. Like I've made it known pretty heavily on this channel. So big fan of Roma Dunze. I don't like Ted McMillan where he's going. I think it's getting there where DK is going to surpass him, but he really, really should not be going here, I don't think. Comp for him was Quentin Johnston. And if you're going to give me, so it's not really falling to the title of this show. I guess I could go Jalen Waddle if I wanted to, but DK Metcalf's too much of a value here, in my opinion. So let's go there. A lot of chatter about DK getting traded. I really don't see that. They just cleared, I think it was 14 million, I believe, with Leonard Williams' contract. They needed to clear, what was it? 20 something million. They're over the cap right now. Mind you, the cap will go up. So that'll, create some space. But also Roy Robertson Harris, he's 6.6 million of dead, cap savings, zero dead money. He's not going to be on that team for sure. So that's 6.6 million they can get there. Tyler Lockett is a possible candidate. They can save, I think it's another 14 million with his contract. And there's someone else because I just looked into it with the Seahawks, wondering if, DK was going to get traded, but I really don't see it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But Tyler Lockett is definitely, a cut candidate for sure. We'll see where it lands, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I think that team is a lot closer than maybe other people think. Obviously, they were pretty close in that division. It was a kind of an off year for the division, but this guy, what are you doing? The season doesn't start in the Super Bowl, man. Like, what are you doing? Frustrating. I don't know if that's enough to throw this draft out, but whatever. But yeah, I think the Seahawks are a little closer than a lot of people maybe think. Two good running backs. They need some offensive line help for sure. Clint Kubiak coming in. I've been talking about it ad nauseum about Clint Kubiak. Give me the running backs in the Clint Kubiak system, but JSN and DK Metcalf are both very, very live this year. I think Geno's going to be the starter kind of by default. I'd like to see what I think about this quarterback class is I think there will be a lot of maybe not a lot, but a few. I think there'll be a few like Will Howard, there'll be a few kind of Andy Daltons in this class, where you can get by with them. Maybe Jackson Dart is that kind of a guy where you can get by with them, but you're not necessarily like jumping up and down over the moon about your starting quarterback. But he can get the job done. And I think that's somewhere that the Seahawks should look, draft a guy off the top of my head. Yeah. I mean, a Will Howard, I think there's a good chance that he obviously goes to the Raiders. Makes a lot of sense. Chip Kelly comes in, one of those running backs, almost for sure. Trevion Henderson and Judkins, one of those two are probably going to be a Raider. And if it's Trevion Henderson, who everybody watches this show knows I absolutely adore, he's my number one running back. I would be happy with that. I'd actually be quite happy with that. I think they're doing a lot of good things in Vegas. I think they're a lot closer than people think too. They need a quarterback, and unfortunately, it's not a good year to need a quarterback. It's really not. But Justin Fields is out there. Daniel Jones can maybe get you by for X amount of time. We'll see. But yeah, a couple free agents. Sam Darnold, I think, could get you by. The Giants are going to need a quarterback. And again, in my opinion, I'll say this too. If I'm a Raiders fan, and this is the most likely scenario too, which really sucks if you're a Raiders fan, in my opinion, because I am really not about that Shedeur Sanders life personally. We'll see once I watch tape on him, but watching tape on Travis Hunter did not, perk my ears up for Shedeur Sanders. Do I go somewhere else? I have 50% Trevion Henderson. Let's get some Caleb Johnson in our life just because I really need to switch it up a little bit. I love me some Trevion Henderson. Y'all know that, but I gotta, I have to, even out my exposure a little bit. Otherwise it's a little aggressive. We got 81 people watching the show. Appreciate it, guys. I think that might be a new record. 82. I'm pretty sure that might be a new record. I appreciate the support, guys. Hit that like button for me if you don't mind, and we'll rip another draft. Not seeing a lot of comments in the chat, so if you got something to say, spit it out. Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year. In other news, water's wet. Patrick Surtain, Defensive Player of the Year. Wow, that's rare. Corner, that's rare. He definitely deserves it though. Man, are you guys just going to give me Trevion Henderson again? Do I just have to take him? I guess I could mix it up with some Deebo Samuel. For the brand, man. Like, if I'm going to put my money where my mouth is with Trevion Henderson. Obviously. I just drafted him in my $250 biggest board. Just drafted him as well. But in like I've said before, in those smaller field, 4 max, 5 max types of fields, you got to get your guys kind of regardless. I can even out my exposure in the big board, even the little big board, that sort of a thing. I can even out exposures, but in the war room, in the biggest board, in the bigger board, whatever, get your guys and make sure you have exposure to your guys, right? And Trevion Henderson is absolutely my guy. It looks like I'm driving the hype train. I'm the conductor of the hype train for Trevion Henderson, and I'm happy about that. I'm more than happy about that. You want to hop on, get in the caboose, jump on. But he's absolutely my guy. Emeka Egbuka is my my wide receiver 1. I don't think I'm going to change on that. I don't think I'm gonna waver on that. Even if I do end up liking Luther Burden and or Matthew Golden more than I do at this moment in time, I think he's going to be my wide receiver 1. Really liked what I saw. I think he can do everything you need for a wide receiver at the NFL level. He can play inside out. He's going to be my guy almost for sure. So unless something, no, there's really nothing that can change. Everything that I've watched from everyone else, Travis Hunter, Tet McMillan, Burden, Golden, all those other guys that I've watched, they're not surpassing Emeka Egbuka for me. They're not. So I just not even penciled. I wrote in Sharpie. He's in my rankings. He's my only ranked wide receiver so far, and he's my number 1 wide receiver. And that's not changing. Like I said to open the show, I'm going to be hard and fast with my takes and very, very firm. Live by a take, die by the take. If you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. And, hopefully I'm right this year. So I'm going to be hard and firm. So we'll see how it goes. Anybody falling? Was this guy still picking KC? Yep. Clem 8. You are a stupid human being, and I don't like you. This is a little ridiculous. Hopefully this draft doesn't get thrown out. Not that like any other team is exceptionally egregious, but this is just ridiculous. Like, reassess your life. Reassess your life choices. I might have to fire this up on the Twitter machine and tag Hope to take a look at this guy's account. Maybe I think we got to figure something out with this kind of junk. I don't know what they can do. I don't have the answer, mind you, but yeah, they got to figure something out because this is just a little ridiculous. Like, if you want to end up with a team like this, you can do it responsibly and not fuck over a whole bunch of other people and get drafts thrown out and just be an idiot in the process. So, like, you want to draft last round Juju Smith-Schuster, like Elijah. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are these ADPs that this idiot is drafting? Like, this is probably, I assume this draft gets thrown out. I don't know, but I am going to post it on the Twitter machine later and tag Miss Bishop and say, hey, take a look at this guy. Can we, ban him, cancel his account, whatever. Take a look at this draft. I like my team too, which is really annoying. I like the team. I mean, half a round value on Trevion Henderson, I'll take him. 5-pick value. Guess running backs are falling a little bit. Jaylen Warren is I'm going to take Bo Nix probably here, but Jaylen Warren is a restricted free agent as it sits right now. He's not technically a Steeler right this second. Let's go Bo Nix, who I really like to pick naked at this point in drafts and then figure it out later. Tons of wide receivers you can add. And I say it all the time, you don't have to have double stack, triple stack, that kind of stuff, bring backs, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to have that in these early drafts. You really, really don't. You want to be, single stacked sometimes, but a quarterback like Bo Nix, you could have completely naked, and that's fine. I probably drafted with his brother last draft, drafted 5 QBs in the first 6 rounds. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see that. I mean, on that bigger board, the $100 draft I did on the last episode, 4 quarterbacks in the first 100 picks, right? So, and one guy only had Jackson Dart. One team just Jackson Dart is his only quarterback. So, a couple free squares there, most likely, which is nice, but not what I want, right? You don't want that. I think I'm going to go with my guy, Caleb Williams. I'd like to take Tyler Warren here, but I'm not going to. Jonnu could make some sense. Let's do that. Let's do Jonnu. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's bring in Jonnu Smith. Then I'm gonna bring in Tua. Joe Burrow gets comeback player of the year. That award is it's a bit of a joke, if I'm being honest. It's a bit of a joke. I think DeMar Hamlin should have got it just because the guy fucking literally died on the field. That's pretty crazy to come back and play football. And he actually had a pretty good year this past year, but you give it to Joe Flacco, I think, right? Which I guess, but a little more adversity in the DeMar Hamlin world, in my opinion. And Joe Burrow, comeback player of the year. I mean, that's not going to go on the top of his mantle, I'll tell you that much. So I don't know, whatever. That comeback player of the year award's a bit of a joke, if you ask me. This guy's scooped twice. No, this guy then. Xavier Worthy. What's this clown going to do? Take it down. He's probably I just don't understand how this happens and why this happens. I kind of wish that they could just cancel a draft as it's live. That would be, I guess, my only, solution, if you will. There goes Noah Gray. What are we doing? That would be my only solution, I suppose, is that they can go in and just cancel the draft as it's going. And just kick everybody out, give you your money back, and then we draft again. I don't know if that's going to happen, but like I said, I probably will hit up Hope Bishop and see if there's something that can be done about this. But let's see where we're at for likes. Got to get to 15, guys. We got to get to 15, and then I will rip another draft. The StreamYard says there's 88 people watching. If you're watching on the Twitter machine, 90 people watching. If you're watching on the Twitter machine, jump into your YouTube, create a YouTube, hit the like button, and let's rip another draft, because this is really unsatisfying how this is going. That's definitely a channel record for viewers, so I appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. But who else do we want to talk about? So let's go down the list of the tight ends. Like I said, Colson Loveland, still he's my number 2 as it sits right now. May or may not change. Then Harold Fannin. And then a guy that I like a lot more than I think other people will is Terrence Ferguson. T-Ferg from Oregon. I liked what I saw on tape, and he already popped off a little bit in the Senior Bowl stuff. I do have some catching up to do on the practices, but he popped off on the one episode, the one practice that I watched, and then he popped up in the game as well. Had a quality stat line, very similar to Colston Loveland, actually, but probably a touch more polished as an actual tight end, like blocking, that sort of a thing. So I was close on that, but he's still 4 Like I can't put Harold Fannin any farther down than 3. That's for sure. Literally led the nation in receiving yards as a tight end at Bowling Green, which is not exactly like a football powerhouse. It's not a bad school, but it's not like a football powerhouse. Oh man, what are we doing? But either way, he led the nation in receiving yards. So I just can't have him any further down than where I already have him. Huge amount of ADP value on Tyler Warren, so that's going to be a super easy click for me. Tua is definitely going to be on my board. Prescott's on my board, but I'd really like to get Tyler Warren here. Huge amount of ADP value, over around 16 picks ADP value. Perfect. Let's get some Tyler Warren in our lives. Definitely my tight end 1. That's not changing. That's not changing. Just super polished, and he can do a bunch of different things. Like I said, high school quarterback. Run the ball a little bit. He had like 200 plus rushing yards at Penn State this past year. A couple touchdowns. Definitely some QB sneak type stuff. So a lot of the things that you see Travis Kelce go under center, in motion, under center, QB sneak. I think we can definitely see that with Tyler Warren, which should be allowed. Let's say they get rid of this tush push thing, right? Which is on the table. They were talking about it last year, and now they're talking about it again. And who's the owner is it of the Packers? I can't remember the owner that's he's very outspoken right now about that whole play and that situation. So it's Dak Prescott here. Again, just a ton of value to me with the Dallas Cowboys. Ton of value. Dak Prescott has been on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again for the last 6 years of his career. And last year he had a down year. I'm buying in that he has a bounce back year. He's only 31, I believe. Maybe he'll be 32 by the time the season starts. But tons of life left in him. Yeah, give me some Dak Prescott, especially if I'm pairing him with CeeDee Lamb, who's obviously a massive target hog in that offense. I'll be looking for Tua to just kind of wrap this up, and then he just takes an at ADP CJ Stroud. Yeah, make it make sense, man. But I'll probably wrap it up with Tua in my quarterback room. I could probably rip another rookie tight end, or there's a few others I like at the end of drafts. Jatavian Sanders, even Hunter Henry would make sense in this team for sure. Zach Ertz would make sense in this team. Maybe Dalton Schultz, Gesicki would make sense. Chigakonkwo would make sense. Trey Harris is a guy that I'm going to take another good look at as well. I saw some numbers recently. I think his yards per route run against man coverage was like fucking 9 yards or something like that. That's wild. That's really impressive. So I'm going to need to take another peek at Trey Harris. That's for sure. Not that I didn't like him. I definitely do. And he, kind of got robbed of a monster season if he didn't get injured. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of similar players. Like I've said multiple times in this channel so far, I think there's a lot of similar players, similar wide receivers in that vein, big body guys, physical wide receivers. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. So it's all about opportunity and landing spot, in my opinion. So we'll see where that lands. Definitely want to go with these two with my next picks. Tua and Jake Ferguson would be fantastic. Tank Bigsby definitely has some value. Udeski, I think maybe I'm saying his name right. That's a quality hire for Liam Cohen for sure, even though he's still supposedly going to be calling plays. That's a good hire to go for, look at the staff. Like that's where it's no secret. Everybody looks at the Rams, everybody looks at the Rams. brings in OCs, passing coordinators, that sort of thing, right? They move on up the board. Zach Robinson, I think is his name in Atlanta, Zach Taylor in Cincinnati, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, right? All these guys come from the Rams. And now you look at teams like, again, the Bengals. Brian Callahan moves on. And now with the Vikings, Udesky, he moves on and gets a shot as an offensive coordinator. And this guy snipes my Tua. Awesome. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't you do that? You know, it makes tons of sense. Why wouldn't you? Either way, it's a good hire. I think it's a good hire to bring in, you know, good quality young talent from other good staffs, right? Kevin O'Connell, I think, just won Coach of the Year. That sucks. Definitely bring in Mims here because it makes sense. Pair with Bo Nix, huge amount of ADP value. I think Mims should fall down the board a little bit, but I'll take him in the 12th round. That's for sure. That's for sure. I could go with Richardson here. Justin Fields is still on the board. I could go Bryce Young and bring in like a Coker. JT Sanders is still there. There's tons of options still. Tons of options. I don't have any Anthony Richardson shares in this tournament. There he goes. So I still won't, but I would have probably picked him there. Looks like I'm just going to be single stacked with the Cowboys and the Broncos. With Miami, it would have been nice to have Drake May would have been nice with this team. But it's not the end of the world. Where do I need to catch up, in my opinion? Am I weaker at running back or wide receiver? It's got to be running back. I think there's some value for Rachaad White right now. Trying to even out some exposures. Let's go Jerome Ford. I think he's interesting right now. I do think that the Browns draft a running back in this wonderful running back draft class. I am concerned if Joel Bitonio retires. But I like Jerome Ford as a rookie. He played well as a rookie. I liked him when he came into the league. He played well as a rookie, had an off year last year, but the entire team had a pretty bad year, except for Jerry Jeudy. Career season for Jerry Jeudy. But other than that, literally everyone. Njoku had a bit of a down year. Jerome Ford had a down year. Chubb obviously had his issues. Tillman was out for 5 games at the end of the season with a concussion, right? There's just all kinds of problems with that Browns team. The defense went from the best in the league to one of the worst, right? It was just a bad year for the Cleveland Browns. And I think, Deshaun Watson had a large, had to wear a lot of blame on that one, which is completely valid. And he won't be on that team. I wouldn't even have him in my building, if I'm being honest. I'd probably just eat whatever and just get rid of him. Like, there's the whole have him as the most expensive backup in the world, but like at this point, why? Like, what? Why? What's the difference? Like, you really don't need that cancer in your locker room. And he hasn't even been a shell of his former self. Like, forget the off-field stuff. Like, that's a whole other conversation. The on-field product has been absolutely abysmal. So why do you want that in your environment? I just think it's you already burned the money. The money's already burnt. It's already gone. Who cares? Yeah, just move on with your life and get rid of them. It's inevitable anyways. So what's the difference? Got some good ADP value with Bo Nix. Good value with Travion Henderson. Tons of value on Marvin Mims. Not that, he should probably, his ADP should probably fall somewhere in between here. 30 picks of ADP value is it's awesome. Tyler Warren, a massive amount of ADP value. Not that I like this team. I actually kind of really don't like this team, but, can make it work and could be viable if it doesn't get thrown out, which I'm kind of confident it will. 4 quarterbacks for this fine young gentleman. Yeah, I think this draft might get thrown out, but we'll see what happens. $92 watching the stream right now. Appreciate each and every one of you. Jalen Coker, high on the board. I might go Cam Ward here, where he's the only rookie that I would realistically draft. I could just take Sam Darnold too. But maybe I take a risk. Maybe I take a chance. Who do I have that he could go to the no one really? I mean, I guess I could bring it back with like Wandale unless he's gone. I could bring it back with Wandale. Or that's about it. The Titans, if I think the Titans draft him, but hard to say. I guess I could go, let's go Cam Ward. And then I can bring it back with Wandale and then Chig. And then I'm getting like Wandale, I like anyways. Wandale's a good value at this ADP. He's been rising up, and I think there's still tons of value there. So I'm going to take him ahead of ADP to potentially pair up with my Cam Ward, and then take Chig Okonkwo as my third tight end to again potentially pair with Cam Ward. We'll see how that works out. The other team is the Raiders, but I think the most likely would be Shadur Sanders. But if I'm the Raiders, I look at honestly, even Russell Wilson with the ties there, and then Shadur Sanders sounds like he could be on the board, which I would hate if I'm a Raiders fan. I would really, really not like that. And sounds like Thielen is going to play this year. He was, trying to make a decision on that. 1 year remaining on his contract. Yeah, okay, come back, finish out your contract. Little swan song. I'm going to be going Wandale here. It's going to be a 3-6-8-3 structure for sure. So we're done at quarterback. Like the real annoying thing about this idiot doing what he's doing is you kind of have to take guys like ahead of ADP sometimes if you really want them, or if you're doing stacks, that sort of a thing. Like if you're stacking up, you kind of have to take, I mean, mind you, he's clearly picking KC, Philly, just lost, just clicking buttons, mindless zombie clicking buttons out there. But so I highly doubt he just takes Chig Okonkwo unless he's watching the show right now and just wants to be a doofus. And if he does, he does. It is what it is. Go nuts. Nick Chubb's off my board completely. He just is. I will not draft Nick Chubb. There's only so much your body can take. And he's 30, or he'll be 30 by the time the season starts. So it's just not conducive for, staying healthy and playing a full season, full 17 games. Especially the biggest reason I don't understand the Nick Chubb pick at all, or why people would even go down that road, is, if he's going to get hurt, he's going to get hurt towards the end of the season, much like he just did in the previous season, right? Last year, he played for a few games, got hurt again, and he was out. So when you need him, he's probably not going to be there. Right? Like, I guess you say he sits out some of the early season and then he comes back and he plays for the rest, the last 10 games. If that's your process, then go nuts. Like, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just not doing it. So I'm not going to say you're wrong. No, I'm always willing to leave room that I'm completely wrong, because I have been and will be again. So yeah. But I mean, it's just not my process personally. Is there anyone else doing anything crazy or interesting? Let's take a look at some of these teams quickly just to kind of piece through it. No one's really getting out of line. Chase Brown. I like the Neighbors Bauer start, but I think Chase Brown's inflated. I'm not the only one that thinks that. I really have a hard time with Chase Brown, Chuba, and Joe Mixon at their ADPs. Even Kyron, Josh Jacobs, I have an issue with. Cook, I think, is okay. I think he should fall a little bit, but I think he's okay. I haven't really picked him too much where he's at right now. I think that's a little rich for my blood. Bucky Irvin's in the same boat as James Cook. Very, very, it's close, but I like to see him fall down a little bit, at least into the 4th, 5th round, something like that before I start clicking the name. But Chase Brown, Chuba Hubbard, Joe Mixon just aren't it for me. If you've been a fan of this channel for any amount of time, I'm not a big Joe Mixon fan for lots of different reasons, but yeah, I don't think he should be going where he's going. I was going to say CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek, that's a cool start, but of course it is. Saquon, AJ Brown, that's interesting. Got the Hurts in there as well. Don't mind that. We're up in 1 pick. Need running backs and wide receivers. All right, I'm willing to slow down on Savion Williams as he falls down. Still my boomer bust guy. Amari Cooper, wow. It's a lot of value on Amari Cooper. I really don't think I'll be drafting him at all. That's a lot of value, though. Let's take Jack Besh because I don't have any shares and I need some. Where do I want to go with running back? I don't agree with Woody Marks' ADP. And at this point in the draft, pick whoever the hell you want. So I don't really have to add any stacks. I don't have to add any stack players. Let's just pick Chigakonkwo here and get that out of the way. Because I can pick whoever the hell I want. Anyone can. Once you get to the 14th round, go ham, go nuts, pick whoever you want, get your guys, get your stacks, do whatever you want to do. I think that's perfectly fine. But who do I want to pick here? So I have a single stack Bo Nix, single stack Dak Prescott. I don't mind my 4 running backs, but obviously that's a little light. Maybe I'll stop. That's a little light to stop at 7 wide receivers. Yeah, I have to believe Breece Hall is going to be a guy in this instance. What I've done, I have to believe that Breece Hall is going to be able to get the job done, and then one of these 2 rookies, and then piece it together with my running backs. What I like to do in these situations with my running back room is when I have two veterans, 2 rookies, take another established veteran, and then another rookie is kind of the way I like to go about it. And Audric Estime is in that vein, and so is Antonio Gibson. I think Antonio Gibson can definitely be a guy this year. He's going to be on the team, new coaching staff. Josh McDaniels likes a pass catching running back. Antonio Gibson can absolutely do that. And the coaching staff might have 0 patience for fumbles with Ramondre Stevenson. So I think Antonio Gibson is fairly live to have a pretty big workload in that offense. So that's a guy that I like to pick in these situations where that's what I'm looking for. And then in my opinion, the rookies are endless here. Woody Marks, DJ Giddens, sure. But realistically, their ADPs shouldn't be any higher than even a RJ Harvey, former quarterback. We saw it in the Senior Bowl, right? Damian Martinez, big body guy, averaged over 6 yards per carry in his 3 college seasons, 2 years with the Oregon State and one year with the U, right? over 6 yards per carry. That's really impressive. So he's definitely a guy that I like to pick. Don't have any exposure in this tournament, so I need, that might be the click here. Rashard Smith could be that type of joker guy for the Broncos. If they're looking for a pass catching running back to be that guy. And there he goes to baby Stevie and Damian Martinez, both those guys. You watching the show or what? you watching the show, baby Stevie? Got the goat horns. Good for you. Won a gauntlet. Well done. But yeah, I'm not shocked that there's like ADP value for Woody Barks and DJ Giddens, because what's the difference between a lot of these running backs? They're all super close for me. Obviously, it looks like I like Bashal Tootin a lot more, which I do. Don't get me wrong. And I like Audric Estime, especially, free pick at the end of drafts. Jordan James could be a guy, bigger body, a little bit of a power back. Cal Monagai is a guy that I need to look into a little bit. Had 2 very quality seasons at Rutgers. Need to look into him. And then my guy Jarquez Hunter. Auburn, played for some really terrible teams, got the job done. Definitely a guy I like. Taj Brooks has fallen down a little bit, which honestly I think he should. First and second down guy, in my opinion. Yeah, the pick is definitely Antonio Gibson. This guy just mindlessly clicking buttons, hey? T Clem 8. What are we doing? Reassess your life, man. Hopefully we get in Gibson. Need another wide receiver still. So let's take a look at that. Savion Williams. I'm just weak for that, man. 6'4", 220, probably 4.3 speed. I'm going to try to not take him, but I will if I have to. I'll take that boomer bust. I'll take that. I'll fall in that grenade if I have to. No one who's that big should be able to move like that. You're going to have to scheme him open a little bit, which they did at TCU. And he does have sus hands. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely has sus hands. Charged with 8 drops this last year, which is ridiculous. Joopy, you watching the show? Could go Troy Franklin to bring in with Bo Nix. Jalen Noel is a guy I like. Malik Washington, I guess I could if I like Tez Johnson, obviously. Keyshawn Butte I like down here. Let's go Franklin. Ricky White is a guy I really like. I need to get a little more Parker Washington in my life, I feel like. New coaching staff, but I think he can definitely have a role, especially if we see something happen with Christian Kirk. Again, new coaching staff, so they don't owe him anything really. If you can get some value for him in a trade, which I think you can, that might be the way to go. And then, BTJ, Parker Washington, maybe bring in a rookie. I think the biggest hit in value is Evan Ingram, with Doug Peterson no longer there calling plays. Obviously, he had a down year, but if Doug Peterson were still there, I would still like Evan Ingram a fair amount. But with him gone, that's a big hit to his value, in my opinion. So we'll wrap this up with a running back. I would take Estime, but I don't want him with the quarterback and 2 wide receivers. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's probably either going to be, I have too much Tootin, so I can slow down on that. Jordan James or Jarquez Hunter. The number one thing I wrote down for Jarquez Hunter was he's the pound for pound king, pound for pound champ in college right now. He's the reigning pound for pound champ. Go watch his tape. You'll know what I'm talking about. Gets low and runs dudes over, even though he's 5'9", 210. 210's nice, but 5'9", he's not the biggest guy in the world. But, you know, you'll say that and then you'll be flat on your ass. So definitely a guy that I like. Good school. RJ Harvey, I like. It's just that he's 5'7". That concerns me. 5'7", 209, I think. 5'7", 208, 09 or something like that is what he weighed in at the Senior Bowl. So that's encouraging. Again, former quarterback, scored a shit ton of touchdowns. But, and he's just a little ball of energy. That was another thing I wrote down for him. Just a little kind of muscle hamstery, you know. Doug Martin, maybe that should be my my comp. Baby Stevie, are you watching the show, man? Just taking guys I'm talking about here. Good on you. I like your team. It's a quality squad. Yep, I like it. Trevor Etienne, I'm not so sure about. I might dig into the tape, but I'm not so sure about Trevor Etienne. Little brother of Travis, who I'm really not a big believer of Travis Etienne, never really have been. Just too many touches. That really concerns me. That really, really concerns me. That's a big reason why I have Ashton Genty as my number 2 running back in this class. You know, I don't like to see running backs just get run into the fucking ground in college. I really don't like to see that at all. You know, you have over 800 touches, plus whatever you did in high school. It's not good. It's not conducive for a long career in the NFL. That's another take I'm going to live and die by. And my exposure is going to show it. I'm not just, talking nonsense. My exposure definitely reflects that. You will not see me picking Ashton Genty in the second round. You will not. I will pick him in the third round for sure. Andy Dalton, what are we doing, guy? The rare 5.555, hey? Yikes. What are we doing? One more pick, and then we'll jump into another draft regardless. Hit that like button for me. We got 95 watching the stream. That's a record. Appreciate that. Guys. But hit the like button so we can get to Joe Milton. That's an interesting click. Hit that like button so we can get to the 15 and make me feel good about doing another stream or doing another draft. We're still not even close, guys. 5 likes. Come on. You can do better than that. Let's go Jarquez here. Again, you're not really making me feel good about this. I am going to do it because I'm really unsatisfied with that Yahoo that was just in that draft. So I'm not even gonna go over the team. I'm gonna run down, get myself another beverage. Thanks, Putt Daddy. Appreciate it. Let's go. 96 people watching. Show record. Thank you to each and every one of you. But do me a favor, hit that like button. Help me out here. I'm going to jump into another draft. I'm going to run downstairs, get myself another beverage, and then put it in the chat if you want to draft something specific. If you want to do a big board, little board, bigger board, whatever you want to do, biggest board, I really don't care. Put it in the chat. Let me know what you want to do. That's what we'll draft, and we'll get our fix because that was really, really depressing. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. And we're back. And we're back. All right. No one wants to draft anything specific. We got 98 people watching the stream. Appreciate it. Another beverage. Still Bowen Island. But this is an IPA. Bowen Island Artisan IPA. Quality beverage. Let's see what the war room's looking like. I have 2 more bullets, I think. Waiting on 7. I don't know how fast these fill. 99 watching this stream. Man, if we can get to triple digits, that'd be really cool. I don't know how fast these fill. I'm in a slow right now. I did 1 fast, so I have a couple more bullets. I think 2 more. Like I said, if you're in the chat and you want me to draft something, let me know and we'll do that. But either way, I want to get into something that'll fill quickly. So let's get out of this. Let's see what the big board looks like. Mike Bolduc. Hit him with the gritty. Just finished my 6th big board. Went 3-3-10-4. I've taken 4 tight ends in all 6 of my drafts so far. That's not a bad strategy. There's nothing wrong with 4 tight ends when it makes sense. Are you going premium tight end like you did last year a little bit? Worked out for you. If anybody doesn't know in the chat, hit him with the gritty, Mike Bolduc. What'd you advance? 81 out of 50, 150? 81 out of 150 big boards last year. Congrats. Well done. How many finals teams did you have? Just curious. I don't know how many you had. I had 2. I had 2 big board finals. Should have been 4 if CeeDee Lamb didn't sit out the rest of that game. If you're in the chat, the week 17 game, or week 16 game, we're filled. We are filled. King of Kings, Ben Haskell, Bonner Bryan, Fantasy Dog Pound. I know he's streaming right now, so we're probably both streaming the same draft, I think. No finals teams. Brutal. How's that even happen? Yeah, 81 to 150. Well done. But no finals teams. How's that even happen, man? That sucks. That's a little ridiculous. Yeah, I know the Fantasy Dog Pound Pat is streaming as we speak as well. So that's awesome. I'm going to have to go watch back his stream and see how we do. So whoever else is in this draft is getting a ton of EV off of these 2 idiots streaming. So good for you guys. Ben Haskell, friend of the show, got the red nose rocking. I like it. Mr. Mufasa, kind of a cool name. We don't have Clem 8 Cavalman. I know who that is. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but I know who that is. Yeah, we don't have Clem 8 or whatever in this one, so that's good. We won't have some Yahoo, but this should be a pretty tough room, I think. If going off of the names I know and the badges, this should be a pretty tough room. But that's what makes it fun. I'd rather a tough room like this than the last draft with a bunch of nonsense going on. Justin Jefferson at 2 for Ben Haskell. That's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Barkley goes 3. Bonner Bryan was on a draft with us in our stream last episode a couple days ago. At 9, who do I think I'm going to get? Probably Amon-Ra. I will absolutely take CeeDee Lamb if he's there, but I don't expect him to be there. Puka rising up boards. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, with the Cooper Cup news, I still have CeeDee Lamb ahead of Nakua personally. I have Amon-Ra ahead of Nico for sure, personally. So if they're both there, I'll be taking Amon-Ra, no question. I have Neighbors probably ahead of Nico. It's just a little concerning with obviously the quarterback situation. Hey, we hit triple digits, first time in show history. 101 people watching the stream. Appreciate every single one of you. Thanks a lot. Hit that like button if you don't mind. First round, Josh Allen. Interesting. Please don't be that guy again. Please don't be that kind of a guy. But that'll give me CeeDee Lamb. Wow. And Brock Bowers first round. Wow. Definitely take CeeDee Lamb at 9. That's for sure. Easy click. That's an easy click. But hopefully we don't see any nonsense. If you want to get your guys and you want to do some different stuff, okay. This won't get thrown out or anything like that, but don't need any nonsense or don't need any craziness. BTJ and Neighbors, couple sophomores. It's a good start. AJ Brown moving up a little bit. Interesting. Nico, AJ, that's got to be a unique start even as the tournament goes on. Hard not to pick a running back here. I really do love the Drake London CeeDee Lamb start, but if you get Derrick Henry early second round, you got to kind of do it. You know, couple pick ADP value. It's got to be somewhat unique getting Derrick Henry and CeeDee Lamb. That's got to be a little bit on the unique side, so I'll take that. Trey McBride, that's fine. Bowers McBride, hey? Interesting. Is this your alter ego, Mike? Hit him with the gritty. Is this your alter ego? You know I'm just busting your balls though, right, man? You know I am, because that worked for you. That strategy worked for you. So anyone that was talking shit, which was not me, but anyone that was talking shit, you know, can eat you know what. Oh man. What are we doing? What are we doing, guy? Two drafts in a row? 2 stream drafts in a row, we get a little bit of nonsense. Ay. That's a little frustrating. We'll see where it goes. That's a little less nonsensical than this is okay, actually. It's not like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It could be viable. It's a little aggressive if you ask me, but this is getting a little silly. So we'll see where this ends up, but I'm not going to lie, I'm a little frustrated right this second. Ben Haskell, that's a great start. That's a really good start. But again, obviously guys are getting pushed up with the 2 tight ends and this nonsense happening here. So we'll see what this guy ends up doing. Kings Silverback. Sounds like a NPC. Meadow Rad, red badge. Clearly he drafts. Just because you have a red badge doesn't mean anything. Oh my God, man. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Why is it always Isaiah Pacheco too? Why is it always Isaiah Pacheco when guys are doing nonsense? It's always Pacheco. I'll never understand that. I guess this is a time to take James Cook. Although Lamar Jackson still makes sense here. I'd really rather not, but let's go Lamar. It's always Isaiah Pacheco when guys are doing nonsense, when they're picking crazy, ridiculous teams and just zombie clicking buttons. It's always Isaiah Pacheco. Why? Why is that? I swear that's what's inflating his ADP, is just people doing this nonsense. Frustration level 1,000,000 right now. Let's see what Pat does. I'm leaning Marvin Harrison here. Let's go down that road. Yeah, let's go down that road. It was either Harrison or Xavier Worthy. See, like it's somewhat viable. It's just different. You can get different. I'm okay with more Meadowrad doing this, but King Silverback. What are we doing? Joe Burrow, okay. That's still a little ridiculous, but at least you're sticking to somewhat, this probably won't get thrown out. Less likely to get thrown out than the other draft, at least as it sits right now. But what are you doing? What's your plan here? Like, yeah, just what are we doing here, guys? Ben Haskell, what's up, man? What's up? I'm sure you're bouncing around between these two chats. What's Pat saying? What's Pat saying about this this guy Silverback, King Silverback here? It's kind of funny. I'm sure we're both streaming at the same time. Yeah, he hasn't totally fucked it up yet, but hopefully he stays somewhat on the rails. Yeah, like as long as the ADPs stay relatively in line, then it won't get thrown out. But this is obvious fucking nonsense, and it drives me nuts. I just did another draft, and it was even worse. So my two drafts might get thrown out, which is really annoying. But somehow all-time high viewers, 103 people watching the stream. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're still enjoying the chatter and enjoying the content, but the drafts aren't awesome. But yeah, I just noticed you're in the room, so I came to say hi. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You got a good squad so far. I like that. Can't get behind the Joe Mixon though. Can't get behind the Joe Mixon. Not a Joe Mixon guy for me, but the rest of it I love. Love the rest of it. But we'll probably have to take a look at these teams. We got Ben, King of Kings, Ben, Pat. We'll take a look, Cavalman. We'll take a look at these teams quickly after the draft. But as long as, again, this guy stays on the rails. Jerry Jeudy, what's his ADP? That's got to be fine. Yeah, that's okay. All right. We should be all right. It's just annoying, and it's not going to make sense. So like I was saying in the last draft, like if you're stacking and if you're doing certain things, you got to kind of just get your guys and do what you got to do. You can't take too many chances because you're probably going to get sniped. So, yeah, let's go Kenny Walker, one of my guys. Yeah, Pat just said hopefully it doesn't get tossed. Yeah, I don't think it will, but it's just really silly. Clearly, this is just. I thought we were done with this, honestly. When the draft opened, when the contest opened, there was a lot of nonsense going on, but I'd hoped we were over that. To be honest, I don't think I had a single big board draft thrown out last year. Not a single one. I really don't recall anything crazy happening, but I've already had a few this draft season. I'm not high on Mixon either, but people I think are smart, like his price, so I take him when he falls. They do seem to have gone back on track. On a track. I don't know if it's the right track. They're on a track, which one of my favorite DJs. P.S. If you know, you know. All right, what are we doing? Let's get a little freaky and get some Deebo Samuel in our lives. Let's get a little freaky with that. I don't have any yet. And I'm still somewhat of a believer in Deebo. He's going to be on the 49ers, I think, this year. I really, really do. Yeah, that's perfect, though. We just need enough of a track to not get tossed. 100%. Yeah, just keep it on the rails, on some rails, on two rails. Just keep it There we go. Sam Laporte. All right. We should be okay. We should be okay. Either way. Yeah, Deebo Samuel should be on the 49ers. I really don't expect him to get traded at all. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. They can post June 1, trade him and save some money this year, save some money next year, but I just don't think it happens. I would be pretty surprised. They can kick the money down the road a fair amount with Brock Purdy, and I think they definitely do that. Obviously, with the Christian McCaffrey contract, Ayuk just signed a contract, and Kittle, Debo's money, all these guys are getting paid. So I think they'll kick the money down the road as much as they can with Brock Purdy. And you can do that a lot of times with quarterbacks. Obviously, Joe Burrow's talking about it right now about, restructuring his contract. The Chiefs do it almost every year with Patrick Mahomes. And that's the way that you cheat the salary cap. Anyone that I talk to and we talk about the salary cap is fake and blah, 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 it's not necessarily. Look at the Saints. Mind you, they do a very good job. Mickey Loomis is one of the best GMs in the entire NFL. They do a very, very good job at manipulating the cap and kicking money around, doing some creative things. Plus, the cap goes up every year, 20, 30 million, right? Goes up every year. So that, causes some gives them some room to play with, right? But you can do that when you have a quarterback that is willing to do it, which why the fuck would you not want to do it? Like, why wouldn't you want to win, right? Patrick Mahomes, like I said, it's not like he's not getting paid. It's not like he's not getting his money. Joe Burrow is going to be willing to do it, which is great news. It's music to my ears. So hopefully that does happen. So that's the way you have to do it these days to manipulate this draft and put these super teams, together. Ben's going to pop back. Appreciate you coming by, man. Jump back in later. Appreciate you coming by. Enjoy the draft. I'll take a look at your team. If you watch the show back, you'll see that. So obviously Mark Andrews with Lamar Jackson, and then I'll probably stop there for my Ravens pass catchers. So let's get Mark Andrews in there. But that's what you can do when you have a franchise quarterback. So when you have a Patrick Mahomes or you have a Joe Burrow, right? You can sign whatever deal you want. Like Patrick Mahomes, what was his, a 10-year deal or something like that? Sign whatever the hell you want and then kick it down the road, restructure, signing bonus, just give them cash over cap. As long as you have an owner that's willing to just pay money out of their pocket, millions of dollars, up to 50, $60 million. As long as they're willing to pay that money out of their pocket, you're going to get it back. You think the Chiefs aren't making money, right? Like, you think the Chiefs don't make money by winning Super Bowls every year? Yes, they do is the answer. And obviously you know that. But that's what you can do when you have a good young quarterback that's willing to do it. And, the possibilities are kind of endless. So, yeah, that's what we got to do. As a Bengals fan, that's what we have to do. And Joe Burrow knows it, and he's still going to get his money anyways. I really would have taken Josh Downs there if Pat didn't. So that's unfortunate. Really don't like the wide receiver situation here. Guess I could bring up Cooper Kupp, but I'm not going to. That's unfortunate. Let's go with Jaylen Warren, I guess. I do expect him to come back as a restricted free agent. I expect him to come back to the Steelers. I'm less, I feel less strongly about Najee coming back to the Steelers. I think he's going to test free agency. The Dallas Cowboys are, an option. There's a few options for him to go to. I guess Matthew Golden I could have taken, but I'm not exceptionally high until I watch some more tape. Mind you, I did click his name once, I think yesterday or something like that. Maybe today in a slow drop, I did click his name because in this area, I guess Rashid Shaheed could be on my list, but he's been having a really hard time staying healthy. Mind you, when he's on the field, yes, he pops off, big playability, all that kind of stuff, but he hasn't stayed healthy for his entire career so far. So it's hard to believe. Plus, new offensive coordinator comes in, a lot of changes. It's hard to say how that team's really going to look. So if you're high on them, go nuts. But I'm not personally too high. I'm falling a little bit behind at wide receiver. Mind you, I obviously CD, but I'm all right with my quarterback tight end situation. So I have some flexibility there. Same with running back. Obviously, I'm pretty good in a pretty good position there. What's this guy doing? Coleman, Connor, Kate. We should be all right. We should be all right. Looks like he, yeah, you getting your guys, I guess. He's a big Isaiah Pacheco fan. I guess that's what it is. He's a big believer in Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe he's a big Rutgers fan. I don't know. And George Kittle. That's certainly aggressive, but hey, the top two tight ends maybe feels like he's going to miss out. All right, whatever. let's move on. But where am I going to go with this? Do I take Cooper Kupp here? Do I gamble on that? I don't know. It's either wide receiver or if I had two tight ends. So Tyler Warren, I suppose, is on the board. There goes Cooper Kupp. I guess Rashid Shaheed could have been on the board for me. I don't particularly love the situation I'm in. So let's go Michael Pittman because I don't really have any other options at wide receiver. It was Tyler Warren or Michael Pittman. That's a good pick for Pat because he could go to the Broncos. And maybe I should have picked Tyler Warren there, but I'm falling a little too far behind at wide receiver. Plus, it opens the door for Anthony Richardson for me, which does make a ton of sense on this team. And there's no other wide receivers that I want to pick here, really, is a bigger problem. I guess Bateman is a way I could go with this. Maybe I just take Trey Harris here. Yeah, I don't really love the situation I'm in. I guess I could take Charbonnet and even with Kenny Walker, but then I could stop at 5 for sure. And I kind of don't hate that idea. Mind you, I wouldn't want Jaylen Warren in that instance as my third running back. And Pat takes Charbonnet. That's a good pick. I guess I just take Bateman here because there's no one else to take. Or Drake May. Or Trey Harris. I think I need to start mixing in a little Trey Harris in my life. You know, let's just get fun and take Travis Hunter. Fuck it. Let's get fun. I don't particularly like Travis Hunter, as if I'm being honest, as a prospect. Not sure what he's going to do. We talked about it last episode. Not sure if he's going to play both sides of the ball. Is the head coach going to let him? Is the offense coordinator, defensive coordinator going to let him? How's that going to work? Right. I think he would have an easier time transitioning to, well, here's the interesting thing. Another interesting thing about Travis Hunter, in my opinion, I think he'll have an easier time transitioning to the NFL as a corner, as far as like skill and talent is concerned. But as far as his size is concerned, I think he'd have an easier time transitioning to wide receiver at the NFL level. So, and it's always Hopkins and Kelsey. It's always these, when guys are doing this nonsense, it's always the Chiefs. It's crazy. So that's kind of my take. It's really, really weird. It's a really odd kind of place to be with Travis Hunter. He's slim, he's slim, you know, he's 6'1", 175, maybe. We'll see what he weighs in at the combine, but he's a pretty slim guy to hold up at the NFL level at corner. But I mean, talent wise, I think he's probably a better corner than he is a wide receiver. But you know, again, I think the best thing for Travis Hunter would be to play wide receiver in the NFL, and then if you have a defensive coordinator that runs a lot of zone, a lot of quarters, a lot of shell coverage type of stuff, if you have a defensive coordinator that does a lot of that sort of a thing, that's where you can play him on defense. I don't know. But you know what? The drafts tonight have been weird. So I'm just gonna kind of play around a little bit and do some different things, which is clearly what I'm doing. Just play around, do some different things, get different, get unique. Let's just fool around with it. So that's what we're doing. If Tucker Kraft was there, I would have taken him. If Trey Harris is there, I will take him. I'm not going to take any of these quarterbacks. Tank Bigsby's on the board. Yeah, that's about all I like up here. Dak Prescott, I guess, is on the board, but I don't really, I guess I could stop at 2. I'd be fully happy at stopping at 2 quarterbacks there. So we can put him on the board because Trey Harris might go. Yeah, if Trey Harris is there, I'll take Trey Harris. If not, I'll take Dak Prescott. What's this guy even doing at quarterback? There goes Trey Harris. Okay, so man of my word, I'll take Dak Prescott. Now I can stop at 2 quarterbacks, I think, and I will. I don't need any more than that, which I like. I'll take Jake Ferguson here, which he should be there, and then I can wait till the very end of the draft and take a 3rd tight end. Probably a rookie, Harold Fannin, Terrence Ferguson, even Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm, all at the end of drafts, right? I can take a rookie like that, and then I can bring in another wide receiver, which I really feel like I have to. There's just a lot of question marks. A lot of these guys could be good. There's a lot of big names in here. Deebo Samuel, obviously CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison Jr., sophomore season should be better. Travis Hunter. There's a lot of big names. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get the production that I need or want out of these guys. So I feel more comfortable with my running back room, if I'm being honest, which is maybe weird to say, but I kind of do. So let's do that. Let's take Ferguson, and then I'm double stacked with the Cowboys. Technically triple stack or double stacked. Sorry, technically double stacked Cowboys, double stacked Ravens, but obviously running back with the Ravens. I'm done with the Ravens. I'm done with Cowboys for sure. I probably will pick a 3rd tight end, but it'll be at the end of the draft. So I'm going to focus on running back and wide receiver until the 20th round. I've got a lot of rookie flexibility. Yeah, especially at running back. I could bring in, 3-4 rookie running backs and be happy about it. Let's see what this guy's doing. Take Bigsby, Corum. Okay. Just up and down the rails, on and off, but this draft shouldn't be thrown out at all, which is good to see. Just a little on the frustrating side. Everybody else is on board, except for the guy in the middle of the draft in the six seed, in the 6 hole. Bryce Young goes with Xavier Legette, who I think is getting a little overlooked, a little forgotten about. I like Xavier Legette. Even if Richardson's there, I'm not going to take him, even though it pairs up with Michael Pittman. I'm just hoping that he has a bounce back season this year. Is kind of all I'm doing with Michael Pittman. He was playing injured almost the entire season, and he played almost every game. I think he might have missed 1, maybe 2 games. But he played through everything. Let's see him get a bounce back season. Former 150 target guy. Let's see him get a bounce back. This guy could do absolutely anything. Quarterback, tight end. Where's he? Baker. He was probably hoping to get K. Dot in there. There goes Rico Dowdle. That's fine. He was probably hoping for some Cade Otton in his life. Chris Godwin might not be a buck. Probably won't be a buck. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping he's a Bengal this year. I think we could use a slot receiver like Chris Godwin. This guy's done it too, tight ends, no question. Justin Fields moves up the board a little bit, but that's fine. That makes sense to me. We're going Quentin Johnston here. Oops. We're going QJ for sure. I think he's fully live to have a career season, which isn't saying much, but I think he's live to have a career season. Still going to be definitely picking a wide receiver or running back, preferably a running back after this. Pat goes Richardson to pair with his Downs. We could have been fighting over him if I wasn't done it too. Christian Kirk, we'll see. Let's go over these teams at the end of the draft, though. I don't want to spoil anything. Ollie Gordon was at the top of my list. That's unfortunate. I really don't like Dylan Sampson enough to take him here. I really don't. I really don't. I think that's too high. I think his ADP is too high. I really, really do. Yeah, I would have taken Algier over Sampson for sure. I like that. But Jalen Coker, I got to go with here. I got to take him. That's just the only value here. Like, I just don't see any value in taking these running backs. Like, you can maybe make a case for Isaac Orendo, but I already have Debo. That doesn't really matter. I could still take Orendo for sure, but I just don't think it's necessary to pull him up. And now I can do kind of whatever I want at Josh Allen, MVP. That is a bit of a stunner. They got it wrong. The NFL got it wrong. Last year, Josh Allen should have been MVP. This year, Lamar Jackson should have been MVP. So they win. It's fine. I'm okay with it. It is what it is. They both got their just due, but they should have flip-flop years. Josh Allen should have been MVP last year. Lamar Jackson should have been MVP this year. But whatever. It's okay. I'm okay with that. But breaking news, Josh Allen's the MVP. Coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell, deserved it. Absolutely. Eli Manning and Luke Kuechly did not get inducted to the Hall of Fame. Interesting. I think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. I could be alone on that one. That's a contentious topic, but yeah, I think all's right in the world. It all made sense in the end, but I think those MVPs should have been flip-flopped personally. So what are we doing here? I'm falling behind at running back, but I think there's enough value at the end of drafts. I can make it work. The value right now is with these wide receivers. Jalen Royals is there. Wandale, Jordan Whittington. Do I think not only 2 Super Bowls, but 2 Super Bowl MVPs? You win 2 Super Bowls, you're in the Hall of Fame. He's top 10 stats wise. You win 2 Super Bowls, you're in the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, it's just what it is. Beats Tom Brady twice. Undefeated season, you're in the Super Bowl, man. That's how I see it. Or sorry, you're in the Hall of Fame. You're in the Hall of Fame. That's how I see it. It's interesting that I'm not taking any. I got Travis Hunter, I guess, but I'm going to take Jordan Whittington here. Yeah, let's get freaky. I'll take Jordan Whittington. Interesting squad. Definitely not a team that I would typically draft. How many picks do I have? 5? Yeah, 5 picks left. 4 running backs and the tight end. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We'll take Harold Fannin if he's there, because I like him a lot and it makes sense. Unless Pat does. And if he does, that's fine. And there he goes. Makes sense. Good pick. 2 rookies, Tyler Warren, and yeah, okay, that's fine. Look for him to take a vet. I'm going to take Audric Estime here. Give me Estime over all of these running backs. And then I have some room for some. I obviously still have some room for some rookie running backs, which is nice. This might be a Terrence Ferguson team that after I have these established vets, I can take a shot with a rookie that I like a lot. Like I don't see a crazy amount of difference. I said this earlier in the show. I don't see a crazy amount of difference between Terrence Ferguson and Colston Loveland. Not an exceptional amount of difference to me. They move similar. They're similar sizes. They can do a lot of the same things. But actually, Terrence Ferguson might be the more polished tight end prospect, just straight up tight end. So that might be the direction I go with this. Probably 3rd round draft capital, something like that. I think he's a quality click. You know, if you're looking at Elijah Arroyo, Gunnar Helm, where is Mason Taylor? There he is. Mason Taylor, right? If you're looking at those guys, give me Terrence Ferguson, who doesn't have an ADP. Yeah. And there's tons, honestly. Gesicki's here. JT Sanders is still on the board. He'll probably go. Chigakonko's down here. You know, you can make case for Juwan Johnson for sure. Some people are picking Benson Knott. I am not, pun intended. Theo Johnson, some people are clicking. I'm also not clicking his name. People are clicking Bretton Strange. Yeah, I could definitely get on board with that. I need to take a look into Evan Ingram's contract, actually. Maybe Bretton Strange will move quite a bit up my board if he's going to be the starter. I need to actually, as soon as we're done this draft, as soon as I'm done the stream, I'm going to go look at the contract situation for Evan Ingram. But what do we want running back wise? I'm going to go Damian Martinez here. I need a little more of that in my life, unless I go Antonio Gibson, which I think could make a lot of sense. I have 4 picks left, I think, right? Yeah, 4 picks left. Let's go with Antonio Gibson. And then that's my last veteran. I'm definitely taking 2 rookie running backs. And then, a tight end. And the door is wide open for who I take, including Bretton Strange. Maybe I'll just take a quick little peek at that right now. Let's take a look at this live, what the contract situation looks like for Evan Ingram. If they can get out of that, because I absolutely think that they would, if they can, then that definitely definitely shoots Bretton Strange way up my board. So he's under contract this year. Wow, yeah. Post June 1, they save $15.485 million. And it's $4 million dead cap. 2026 is a void year anyways. That makes a lot of sense to do that. 30-year-old Evan Ingram, considering what Bretton Strange just did. Let's go Damian Martinez here. I'd like to get some more exposure to him. And then the door's still wide open for kind of whoever I want to take. As far as rookie running backs are concerned. Two more picks, definitely a tight end and a running back. Wow. So that's going to be something I'm going to dig into a little bit more, and maybe we'll talk about next time, which will probably be maybe on Saturday. We'll do a stream, little Saturday afternoon, something like that. So hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. 103 people watching. Appreciate y'all. That's awesome. That's awesome. Never hit triple digits on the show until tonight, so thank you so much. But yeah, that's maybe something we'll talk about next time is Bretton Strange. That's really interesting. I think that makes more than all of the sense in the world for the Jags to move on from Ingram. You could probably find a trade partner too. That's a pretty juicy contract. I mean, maybe eat a little bit. They're already eating 4 regardless. They're eating 4 million. You know, what was it, 14 that they're saving? Like, let's say you eat another 2 or 4 million. Maybe it's different on a trade too. Let's take a quick peek at that. No, same on a trade. So you're eating 4, you're saving 15. Even if you eat another 4, that's still worth it in a trade if you can get some sort of compensation back. You know, let's say it'll probably be like a 6th round pick. If you can get a 5th and eat some of the contract, I probably do that if I'm the Jags. Like, I almost absolutely do that if I'm the Jags. Huh. That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. I'm not high enough on Bretton Strange. I need a little bit more Jordan James in my life. I have a bunch of Jarquez, just picked him last draft. I like Jordan James a lot. Big body guy. Only thing that he lacks for me is a little bit of, breakaway speed that guys like Tootin and Jarquez Hunter have, hence why I have more exposure to them. But let's get some Jordan James in our life. Don't hate it. And then it's just a tight end. It's not going to be Elijah Arroyo. I don't mind his tape, but he had a hard time staying healthy. He only had 1 year of production. He was good. Don't get me wrong. I just think some of these other guys, like even Ferguson, I think Ferguson should be going higher than Arroyo. I don't know why he's not. Maybe it's just not sexy. I don't really know. I'm not really sure why he's farther down people's draft boards. But that might be the direction I go, unless I just want to get some Bretton Strange in my life. Mind you, Pat could go that route with Trevor Lawrence and all these rookie tight ends. That's probably a good click, actually. It's not a bad click. He's probably going to go running back, but Bretton Strange isn't a bad click for him here. Jaleel with Bo Nix makes sense. Man, I just really like Terrence Ferguson. If we're getting crazy, mind you, Strange is crazy too, although I think he's going to fly up my board. Let's get some Terrence Ferguson in here. Let's get a little crazy. This is absolutely an interesting team. Won't get thrown out, which is nice. Unless, let's take a look at what this guy's done. Kelsey, Hopkins, Bigsby. Okay, we're okay. Everything's okay. That's fine. A little early on Gesicki, but whatever. Mike Williams, wow. Okay, sure. Demarcus Robinson, sure. Definitely won't get thrown out this draft. So that's nice. So I can comfortably, we can comfortably evaluate these teams and know that it's going to stick. And I don't love my team, but I definitely don't hate it either. It's definitely unique. It's definitely different. 4 tight ends here, not a bad strategy. Ricky White, love it. Like some Trey Benson. Love me some Devin Neal. Don't mind this team, just off the JSN at 27. That's actually value. I think JSN is going to move up to the second round for sure. Ty Felton. Someone on Twitter I saw, that's his guy. I might have to watch some tape on Ty Felton, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's jump out of here. Let's jump back into it. Let's break down some teams. Let's break down some teams. Okay. Let's go. Let's start at the top. King of Kings. Caleb Williams, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart. That's okay. Obviously, a little shallow for me. Can't say I love it, but if I'm going to pick a rookie, it's going to be Cam Ward and maybe Jackson Dart. I'd need to dig in more on Dart, but I love me some Caleb Williams, so that's a good start. Jacobs, Tracy, Dobbins, Javonte, Cam Akers, a lot of issues. I'm not a big fan of this running back room, if I'm being honest. I'm not a fan of that room personally. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Roma Dunze, Zay Flowers, Ibuka. I like this. Nothing wrong with this wide receiver room. Probably would have went with another wide receiver instead of Cam Akers, even different one, or another wide receiver instead of Justice Hill. Colson Loveland, Hunter Henry, Juwan Johnson. That's fine. That's a fine tight end room, but not the biggest fan of the team. Let's take a look at Ben Haskell. Got the reindeer nose. Love it. Bryce Young, J.J. McCarthy, Geno Smith, and Matt Stafford. I think you kind of had to go for. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. You got to get some volume when you have a lot of kind of question marks and it's a little bit shallow for sure. I don't mind just throwing volume at it. So that's not bad. Huge value on Matt Stafford. Value on McCarthy, sure. I don't hate that room. Nothing wrong with that. It'll get you by. Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson, DeAndre Swift. Yeah, if you're taking 4 quarterbacks, I don't mind that. That'll work. Especially if Joe Mixon is, if he's exactly what it was this year, then yeah, that's definitely going to pay off. Justin Jefferson, Tyreek, Metcalf, Bateman, Liggett, Naylor. Second time I've seen you pick Naylor and stack the Minnesota Vikings. Big fan. Hey, I don't hate that. I don't hate the take. Jalen Noel, Ty Felton. I like this room. That's very strong. That's a very strong wide receiver room, I think. Tyler Higbee, hopefully he stays healthy. Looked really good at the end of the year there, but he did get kind of banged up in the playoffs again. Doesn't mean he can't get healthy over the offseason and he's going to be on the team. He definitely stepped right back into the tight end 1 role with the Rams after all of the injury, torn ACL, obviously. Jonnu Njoku, don't hate it. Don't hate it. It's a quality room. That'll work. Wide receiver room will work. Running back room is fine. Quality team. You did what you had to do. You kind of just did what you had to do here. And I don't hate that. I'm sure you don't absolutely love your team, but I'm sure you don't hate it either. Just kind of did what you had to do and filled it out. I don't mind that. Let's go to this Yahoo. Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. At least he stopped at 2 and he got 2 of the best. Okay, sure. 5 tight ends. Really can't get on board with that considering you took George Kittle in the second round. Laporta, Kelsey, Freiermuth, Gesicki. This is overkill, obviously, and pretty terrible strategy. So there it is. Pacheco, Connor, Bigsby, Corum, Dowdle. Terrible running back room, especially the massive reach on Pacheco. Can't get behind that. That's just losing strategy, obviously. Jerry Jeudy, Keon Coleman, DeAndre Hopkins, Thielen. Those are some huge question marks. Demario Douglas, I like. Massive question mark. Massive question mark. Might not even be on this team. Can't get behind any of this squad, really. Like there's obviously a huge strength at quarterback. You should be ahead of the field at quarterback and tight end, I guess. Volume at tight end and 2 of the best and reaching at quarterback. But running back room is terrible. Wide receiver room is soft. Anyways, let's take a look at, let's do Cavalman first, and then we'll do Pat's, and then we'll do mine. So Jordan Love and Stroud. That's close. That's really close. I would probably have to draft a third, like a Anthony Richardson or Justin Fields, something like that. Maybe Darnold, even like a Russell Wilson, something like that. I would probably have to throw a third at it if it's me, but that's really close, really, really close. So I don't despise it. James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne, Ollie Gordon, Marshawn Lloyd to pair with Jordan Love and Kareem Hunt. Don't mind it at all. That's different, and I don't hate it. I'm not a fan of Aaron Jones. I'm not a fan of Etienne this year. I'm not a fan of Kareem Hunt this year, but I can understand all of it. And it kind of plays off each other. That's fine. I don't mind it. Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs to pair with Jordan Love. Gabe Davis, yeah, they paid him a lot of money. I just can't really get behind it. I guess if they trade Christian Kirk and or Evan Ingram, that could open some doors for Gabe Davis, but that remains to be seen. I'm not a big Amari Cooper drafter. Jaden Higgins, I don't mind at all. Interesting, prospect. I like this room. Hawkinson, Dalton, Schultz, JT Sanders, I'm a big fan of. I like that. This is very quality. That's a very good tight end room. Nothing wrong with this squad at all. Obviously, just a little on the light side at quarterback, and I don't think I'd be, I think he would say that as well. It could very well work out. Could absolutely work out. He's got Dalton Schultz to pair with Stroud, and then maybe a rookie with Higgins. You never know. But other than that, unless there's a trade or something crazy happens, just single stack with Schultz, which isn't a bad thing because realistically, Nico Collins is the only real, we can bank on it wide receiver for the Texans next year. So I probably would have thrown a rookie here for sure and here and just said, hopefully the Texans draft this player. That's probably what I would have done. And I just like some of the rookies better than these 2 players anyways, but I don't mind this team. I don't mind it. Let's take a look at Pat, the Fantasy Dog Pound, who's obviously streaming right now and is probably doing the same thing that I'm doing. Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, and Anthony Richardson. I love that. I'm a big, I do a lot of this very similar. Not a huge Trevor Lawrence drafter, but I definitely draft a lot of Bo Nix and Anthony Richardson. So I like that room. Makes sense to have 3. You really have to with that. So I like it. Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, Zach Charbonnet, Tyler Algier, Woody Marks, Jaleel McLaughlin. Really nothing wrong with that. Woody Marks, I think his ADP is too high. It just, not that I don't like him. He's a quality prospect. Caught I think 61 passes last year with USC. So he's definitely got that third down pedigree sort of thing, but he's a little small in pass pro, I thought. But either way, don't need to drown you with my analysis, but I don't hate Woody Marks. I like this room. I'm a big fan of Charbonnet. I think he was right picking Algier over a guy like Dylan Sampson. That makes I would not be picking Dylan Sampson where he's at. Kyron, sure. Achane's a very good pick. Jaleel McLaughlin obviously pairs with Nix. Quality room. Nothing wrong with that. Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Chris Olave hopefully has a bounce back year. Cortland Sutton with Bo Nix, Josh Downs with Anthony Richardson, Christian Kirk as it sits right now with Trevor Lawrence. I might have to dig into his contract a little bit as well. Adonai Mitchell pairs with Anthony Richardson as well. Another, so double stack Indy, double stack Denver. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And then could get a tight end in Jacksonville, but one of these guys are very live to go to the Broncos and potentially the Colts, actually. So could end up with a triple stack on either the Broncos or the Colts with these tight ends. My number 1 tight end, my number 3 tight end, and my number, I think, 6 or so, 5 or 6 for Gunnar Helm. So I don't mind that. I would personally probably throw a veteran tight end in the mix there. But I don't hate it. Yeah, quality team. Pat knows what he's doing. I like the squad. And then let's finish up with the OTS team. Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. I think that's perfectly fine to stop at 2. I think Dak Prescott should be going way higher than he is, and I'll keep drafting him as he fires up the board. And then, yeah, I think it's fine to stop if you're taking, 3rd round Lamar Jackson, bring in, 10th round or so. Dak Prescott, 11th round. Yep. That's perfect capital in my opinion. If you're going to stop at 2, that makes sense. And I like the 2 players. Derrick Henry got a little value. Doesn't make a ton of sense to pair up with Lamar Jackson, but it doesn't really matter. It's one of the best offenses in the NFL. They're going to get their points, and they can both be in my lineup every single week, regardless. I like Kenny Walker a ton. Jaylen Warren, I'm not so sure I needed to do that, but I'm happy. I'm okay with it. Audric Estime, Antonio Gibson, Damian Martinez, Jordan James. I dig it. I'm probably higher on most on Audric Estime. There's no one else to really pick here, hence the huge, reach, you could call it, but I like him over a lot, pretty much all of those running backs that go ahead of him. So I think he should rise to where I picked him. So we'll see if or when that happens. But I like this room. Yeah, I'm happy with that quality. CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison Jr., Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman Jr., Travis Hunter, Quentin Johnston, Jalen Coker, Jordan Whittington. I like it, actually. It's unique for me. I'm not picking Travis Hunter. This is my first share. Jordan Whittington, I've picked once or twice. Deebo Samuel, that's my first share. So I don't mind that. And then getting, CeeDee Lamb at 9, that's a major value for me. So I like that. I got some value on Marvin Harrison, which is rare in these streamer type rooms. Value on Johnston, which I think is fantastic. So I like this. I like my team a lot, actually. Mark Andrews, Jake Ferguson, and Terrence Ferguson, the T-Ferg, J-Ferg, the Ferguson brothers. I like it. Stacked up with Lamar, stacked up with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. I like this team, actually, quite a bit. It's definitely unique. It's definitely different, but I really do enjoy it. I think I did a decent job, except I'm obviously I'm a little leery about this portion of my running back room, but I think I'm top heavy enough to be okay. As long as 1 or 2 of these guys kind of hit, then I should be all right. But yeah, there you go. That's the draft. That's the show. Another 2-hour episode. We're smashing these drafts. We're smashing the stream. 2-hour episode, triple digits, 107 people watching. That's a record for Off the Schneid. Thank you so much. Appreciate every single one of you. I'll schedule in another stream probably for if I'm not too busy, which I don't think I am. I think Saturday afternoon, a little weekend stream is probably what we'll do. So we'll leave it there. I'm going to do some work on my rookies. I got to dig into tight ends a little bit more. Wide receivers, I definitely got to get into. Quarterbacks, I got to dig into. But in about a week or 2, I will show my spreadsheet again. So, hit that like and subscribe button. Subscribe for sure. Notification bell so you know when I'm going live. And then I'll share that spreadsheet, which has all of my prospects, all of the, the notable prospects with my notes, everything I have to say, rankings, all of that. So I'll show that not next episode, but probably in a couple from now, where I'll have it pretty much completely filled out and I'll be hard and firm with my takes. Hopefully I can get to my rankings. I'll show you that as well. But we're going to call it a night there. Like I always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right. Appreciate you guys coming out. Have a good night. Peace. We'll see you next time.